Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Right, today we're back again with another Alliance War video. This is Alliance War number 4. It's ASR against PALO. And overall, I must say that this might not be quite the Alliance War video for every single one of you. I actually didn't have many fights at all. I think the fewest fights I have had in a while. And I possibly would have chosen not to upload it or just include it at the beginning of the next one. But there is an interesting thing that did happen that definitely had me absolutely shook, and it was my come to Jesus kind of moment. So let's get to that. So I'm gonna jump here on the right side. And yeah, so PALO is a very strong team as well. We have faced them several times in the past. I don't think we have lost to them, but I do think that we have had several very close wars. They are certainly Masters level alliance. So, the instructions for this war for me were quite clear: to bring in Quake and Human Torch and whatever kind of thing. So I just brought in Nick Fury, pretty much just for the synergy to increase the attack of Quake by 10%. And yeah, perhaps if I use Human Torch, those away charges can come in handy as well. So that is pretty much it that happened there. And this time I'm going to be on path 7 in section 1 and in section 2. And I could have taken a few more fights, but unfortunately I simply physically was not around. So I'm going to let you guys know which fights I unfortunately kind of wanted to take but didn't. Because yeah, it would have made the video significantly more interesting. So either way, once again, this is a very tough war, and path 7, well, it's not the hardest, I think, but it's definitely not the easiest one either. So the first node here, we have Blade on Kinetic Transference and Power Bond. Now, Blade does not benefit from Protect Global, as he's not large or X-Large champion, but he does have class advantage. The name of the game in this fight is actually quite simple. Just don't block, don't let him hit my block at all, make sure he doesn't gain any power. And then it all should go quite straightforward. As you can see, one set of aftershocks already took down like 20% of his health pretty much. So this fight should be over thereabouts roughly in a minute. And yeah, I know again that there are some of you who do not enjoy Quake fights at all, so my apologies for that. And there are some of you who simply say fast forward the Quake fights. But I feel in some important moments, well, in general, I just don't like fast forwarding, especially war fights, because that makes them feel detached and already kind of like predetermined. But either way, so we still have full yellow bar here, which I'm very happy about. 1 minute exactly has passed at the start of the fight, and we can see that he's at 8%, so it's slightly over a minute. It's not too bad with the class disadvantage and all that considering. So the first fight in the bank, still Deathless 3 continues. Very happy with that. Will try my best to maintain it for as long as I can. And this next fight is Power Bond, Matador, Dormammu. Obviously, I could have easily taken in Human Torch and absolutely destroyed the guy. Reason why I went with Quake though is because I knew that if I bring in Human Torch, at the very least, I'm gonna end up taking some chip damage, and that would potentially cost me a potion if I need Human Torch for another kind of like serious close, well, hard fight. And I knew that if I bring in Quake, I am quite likely to finish the fight with a full yellow bar, once again, without taking any chip damage. That's one of the reasons why I like Quake. Just, you can enjoy playing with a full yellow bar for, well, longer than you can with most champions. And we can see that Quake's doing fantastic job, obviously class advantage in this case. And yeah, Dormammu is absolutely melting. This fight's gonna be over quicker than the one against that 5-star Blade. Obviously due to Dormammu, I think, having negative physical resistance and also Quake having class advantage. And yeah, that was a very simple, straightforward here. And I could have taken either one of those bottleneck fights, but I was out of energy, and at that point I was already kind of going to bed. So that in mind, obviously, by the time I woke up, everything there was clear and on the way to path 7 as well. So that was just a quick moving video. So on path 7, I have to deal with Domino, and then it's Nick Fury, which will present its own stresses as well, and then Hulkbuster in the end. But this Domino is obviously tricky, because Domino is always Domino, but I feel the most confident using Quake against Domino. I don't remember the last time I have died using Quake in war, and Quake's awesome. I love Quake, and I feel very, very safe. So it's spite and powerful from afar, which is fair enough, so I just will not dex this fight, because I know there is a way how I can trigger precision and dex the entire fight using Quake against Spite, but with Domino, there's a lot of things happening, and I'd rather not. But there's gonna be something very, very weird happen that's gonna be come to Jesus moment. We're gonna see it in a second, and towards the end of the video, I'm gonna get back to it as well. But yeah, we can see that Domino is going down fine. I'm taking a bit block damage, absolutely no problem with that. Dropping my parries, everything's perfect. Here, Domino is at like, what, 58%, right? And I don't know what that happened there, but it's 4 critical hits. I'm at 14%, I'm in Assassin's range, and I'm bricking it. I'm actually gonna show that moment again a bit later, but here we can see 10%, and she's at 45%, so I'm scared for my life. So at this point, I did drop my level 1, and now at this point, this was the one of the critical points as well. I got lucky, but it was also calculated at this point where she didn't throw that level 1. And somehow, barely, with 6% health, I survived this fight. Now, there were a lot of luck, a bit of kind of like concentration, a bit of risk, obviously a lot of risk involved. And yeah, as soon as those 4 hits landed, and every single one of them were critical hits, I thought I'm dead. I'm very surprised that I didn't die. I'm guessing that Domino only had like 1 point in Assassins or no point in Assassins, because if Assassins had been maxed out at that point, there is absolutely no chance I would have lucked out as much. But yeah, first let's finish the rest of the fights, and then we're gonna check out that last clip again a few times. Right. So here against Nick Fury on kinetic transference and aspect of evolution, I don't really care about anything. Truth be told, I probably should have paused because I was a bit shook. I didn't still quite understand what happened and what went wrong. And truth be told, I still don't know how Domino managed to get that combo in, because after we're gonna watch that moment happen, I was holding block. Either way. This fight is obviously going to take a bit longer because it's Nick Fury and class disadvantage, double healthful, so I can kind of like wind through. I said I don't like fast forwarding the fights, but I'm going to make an exception to this one, because this one definitely is quite lengthy fight. We can see here, and still good enough of a job, and yeah, I get that Nick Fury down. I wasn't like worried about that fight at all, but yeah, I was definitely still a bit shook at this point. And now the last fight that I'm gonna end up taking in the war, I could have and should have taken some of the mini boss fights, but I was trying to steal some extra boss fights, so I was waiting for energy, and the next time I checked the game, somebody had stolen my mini boss fight. It seems like it's becoming all a big game in my bot group. Steal the mini bosses, and I may or may not have started that. So I'm not quite sure whether I have any room to complain about my mini bosses being taken at times. If yeah, I'm kind of responsible for that behavior, and as long as nobody dies doing it, it's like all fun and games. And that's actually, there are obviously bad things and bad things that can happen if you take your reliance with mini bosses, but it's also a good thing that if you are confident that you can take down a fight, then you kind of should go for it, because the person who that fight has assigned to it might not have a great war, or might not be as confident. So I don't know. Either way, so far it's kind of working out. I don't think any of the quote-unquote thieves have died to mini bosses, and it's just more fun that way. And yeah, so here we can see that Hulkbuster is about to go down, and this was the last bit. But here we can see the rewind of the Domino fight, and I'm clearly holding block there. Let's go again. Heavy block, and somehow I get smacked in the face. We can do that again. Heavy block, and I get smacked in the face. And I did not let it go just before. Didn't touch it, my fingers planted it. But again, I don't know what happened. It might have been some sort of micro twitch in my finger or something. But what was the tragic part, I think, for most part, was definitely that every single hit was crit. And the only reason that I survived this fight, and it's very, very important, only reason that I survived this fight and I was able to push forward is the fact that I was boosted. If I had boosted literally any less, I would have been dead. So this is just, again, one of those examples where you're able to get away with things if you kind of commit to the war the best you can. And had I boosted smaller and had I been KO'd, I would have been very upset with me for the fact that I didn't boost bigger. And now, since I did, well, I didn't max boost, but I had a 30% champion boost, a health boost on and stuff like that. So overall, thanks to that, I managed to squeeze through this fight, and I'm so very happy that I didn't let my alliance down, and that I didn't die, and obviously as well, didn't kind of ruin my season. But yeah, overall, all things being said and done, ASR did win this war. It's actually just about to get finished. We won it fairly comfortably, I think. From beginning, we had a bit of a lead, which we maintained and expanded towards at the end, and that's cool. So we're 3-1 now in the season. We lost to Kenobi, and that is it so far. And yeah, overall, hopefully we can have smooth rest of the season. But that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, hit that like button, hit that sub button, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information